Hello and welcome to this free mandolin lesson. I've been a little quiet on here recently due to being away, sort of touring on the road for the last 6 weeks. So over the next 10 or 12 minutes, I want to show you a song that perfectly sums up how I feel right now, and that is the wonderful Back Home Again by John Denver. We're going to focus on the chords for this lesson. Normally I would go and grab Jay to sing the song, but unfortunately she's away, so we're stuck with me playing the melody while you focus on the chords. And we're going to do this in 2 levels, so there should be something for everyone. For beginner and intermediate players, we're going to focus on the starting points of chords, which is the bass and strum rhythm, and some open chords in the left hand, which will sound a bit like this. To B7. Back to E. And it does the whole verse again. And then for more advanced players, we're going to look at a more complicated right-hand rhythm that matches John Denver's original, and also some closed chords in the left hand, and that will sound, hopefully, a bit like this. Back to A. B. Everything we talk about in this lesson is included in a free PDF, which is linked in the video description below. Press the little more if you can't see the PDF link. It's definitely down there in the video description. So we're staying in the original key that John Denver sings in, so hopefully at the end of this lesson, once you've played along with me playing the melody, you can just head over and play along with John Denver. So we're in the key of E. We're also just going to focus on the verse and the chorus, and just to save this video being overly long, the bridge has 1 extra chord in, which is included, but all of the theory we talk about is the same, so just copy and paste across to the bridge when you do end up playing along with John Denver. So we're in E, as I just said, and we need 4 main chords, and these are the open chords, and open just means that one of the notes that you're playing in your chord is an open string. That's literally what an open chord means. So the E we need. Now I play 4, 2, 2, 0. What I'm doing is I'm using my index finger to catch the 2 and the 2. Now a lot of people really twist their fingers round to try and get this, but I found that as long as you're catching the middle set of the 4 strings, so the lowest note I'm trying to catch is not clean, second one's clean, third one's clean, and the last one is not quite as clean. But if I was to play through that, you can't really tell. So that's why I use just the tip of my finger. You can, if you've got small enough hands, you can get 2 fingers to play the adjacent frets. I can't do that. So that's how I play my E, just as a 2-finger chord. And you get that beautiful sound. It's more like an E5 chord, technically, for any music theory interest out there. That's your E. The A is a similar thing. 2, 2, 0, 0, you move your finger across. And now B7, this is sort of not a commonly used chord, but so, for the purpose of this lesson, B7 is 4, 1, 0. Try not to hit the E string, the world won't end if you do, but... There is also an E7, which comes halfway through the chorus. E7 you get to from E. So you're on 4, 2, 2 for E, and put your pinky finger down to get 4, 2, 5 for E7. So those are the 4 main chords. Just pause the video, make sure you can move between those quite comfortably. And then once you can do that, rhythm. If you are new to playing chords, or even if you're a good player and this is a new song to you, the first thing you should always do, the first time you play through a new song, you should fall back on the bass and strum rhythm. So if we were to do it on an E chord, it's literally as it says. It's a bass note and then a strum. All downstrokes. So bass, strum, bass, strum. That is your safe zone for any song on the mandolin in normal time signature. Not for waltzes, but anything in 4/4, bass and strum. It puts you in the perfect position to play along with other musicians. You're not going to play anything that's going to stick out. You'll still be part of the band, and the singer will be more than happy with what you're doing. And if you've never seen a chord chart before, which is included in the PDF, when you're playing bass and strum, one letter on the chart is equal to one bass and strum. So the top line of the verse, which is essentially 4 E's, 4 A's, would be, so here we go, 3, 4, 1 E, 2 E's, 3 E's, 4 E's, A, 2 A's, 3 A's, 4 A's, and then it would be onto B7. So it's quite easy once you know bass and strum and you have a chord chart, you can play a song that you probably never heard before really quickly. So with those two elements, you are now in a position to have a go at playing a verse and a chorus along with me playing the melody. So I'll split screen it, so I'll still be playing the chords and I'll be playing the melody. 1, 2, 3, 4, E. Here's the A. To B7. Again to A, to B7, here's the chorus to A, B7, to E, here's the E7, and that will be all you need to play the whole song. So if you feel comfortable with those chords and that rhythm, leave this video and go and play along with John Denver. It's a really valid way. Bass and strum will save you in any situation. For the more advanced players, we can make both hands more complicated. So first of all, those open chords could become closed chords. And if you've never played a closed chord before, closed means there's no open strings. So every single note you're playing is fretted. And normally the reason we do that is because we have more control over the chord, so you can stop it dead quite easily just by releasing the pressure. We're not doing that in this lesson, but that's why you generally play closed chords. So our E becomes 4, 6, 7, and the nice thing about closed chords on the mandolin is that your hand stays in a very similar shape for all of them. And there are plenty of good lessons out there on why this chord is so important. But 4, 6, 7 is our E. A becomes 2, 2, 4, 5, and B7 becomes 4, 4, 6, 7, which is in the same shape. We're just dropping that high note to there. And then also E7 is the same shape as B7, just moved over. So all 4 chords now are pretty much in the same shape with your hand. Certainly your hand kind of in the same shape. This does hurt after a little bit, so don't overdo it. It takes a bit of a while to build up the muscle strength. So if this is your first time playing these chords, maybe just give it once runs through, have a little break, and then don't do any damage to your hands. And then once you've got those in the left hand, the right hand. Now, when I first started playing along with this song, I was jamming along in this rhythm. So I could certainly hear that the guitarist was constantly playing notes. Down, up, down, up, down all the time. So I was doing this kind of rhythm. So like a down, up, strum, up. So that I really like that rhythm. I think it sounds great in this sort of slower speed. So you're busy in the right hand, but because it's slow, it doesn't sound rushed. And notice how much I'm swinging that. It's not that straight 1 and 2 and 1 and 2 and. Swing would be 1 and 2 and 1 and 2 and. So your downstrokes are ever so slightly longer than your upstrokes. But when I then listened again to finalise this lesson, I realised the guitarist is actually being much more single string than that. If I just play the intro, there's 4 bars of E to the intro, you can hear the guitar. So what I think is actually happening, first of all, it's finger picking, so that's why they're single stringing it. On the mandolin, we can do that. with like a little cross picking pattern. So G string, D string, A string, D string, down, up, constant. And what's a good way to do this, or certainly how my brain does it, the right hand is in charge here. It's more important that the rhythm stays constant than you get the right chords in the left hand. Any musician would rather you played a perfect rhythm with wrong chords than right chords with a random rhythm. Because if you're playing a random, if you're going... If you start on your rhythm, other musicians have no way of playing along with you, really. So what my brain does is says to my right hand says, I'm just going. I'm setting off, going like that. And it's up to the left hand to keep up. So if you can, try not to ever break that. And if we get, you know, if the A misses or the B7 slightly misses, doesn't matter. Keep the rhythm going. So just have a little pause, have a little practice of that. Just loop it round. And now let's play along with me, playing the melody. One verse, one chorus. 1, 2, 3, 4, E. A. B7. E. Verse again. To the chorus. Back to A. B. Hopefully you made it to the end and you can hear how nice that pattern sounds against the melody. Your left hand, like mine, might be hurting slightly. What's nice about chords is you can just pick and choose, because at the fundamentals of everything we're doing, we're accompanying a singer, but you can change how you do that. So what I would expect to happen normally is maybe the verse would be the quite specific picking pattern, and then when the chorus hits in, you might want to loosen the right hand off. It's great to be back home again. But the chorus, which you want to lift normally, would be strummier, and maybe the chorus you'd go to open chords. It's great to be back home again. So you can cut and choose left hand and right hand rhythms to completely suit how you feel. If you listen how they sort of slightly change how the song feels. Bass and strum is quite simple, leaves it over to the melody. The second option is more interesting and actually adds something. It's almost like a part as well as the song. Your next task is to head over and play along with John Denver. I've put the full arrangement in the PDF, and I've even put the lyric sheet. If you're a singer, then you can just sing it yourself. You don't need John Denver. I hope you've enjoyed the lesson. We'll be back next month, and all the other previous Mando Mic lessons are over at mandomic.com. Please do hit like and subscribe while you're here, and we'll see you next month.